What's going on, everybody? It's Ted again here with the CountdownCityGeeks.com. Got another incredible interview for you. Joining me is my co-host, the one and only Retro Ray, and our very special guest. Pretty much broke onto the scene in a big way. She is a singer, model, actress, and you might have caught her in the premiere of season 2 of Peacemaker. She was turning heads all over the internet, and she's with us right now, Brey Noelle. What's going on, Brey?
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're so excited you're here. White Rabbit took the internet by storm. You were all over social media. I could not open social media app without seeing your photo like somewhere at the top of the timeline. And so you must be on cloud 9. And I promise you, we're gonna ask you anything that we can possibly about Peacemaker and about your character White Rabbit. I do know it was a brief cameo, but that's okay. We're gonna get into it as much as possible. But I'd love to hear first about kind of your origin story. I mean, we know you're an actress, but going through sort of your bio, I was pleased to find out you're also a singer. I've been hearing some of your stuff. You got some really catchy pop tunes. I'm digging it. I love it. So first, just kind of tell us about yourself. Like, what is your story? How soon did you get into acting? And how long have you been singing? Really?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, thanks for the music shout out too. Music is actually kind of was always my passion since I was a little kid. So I that was kind of the beginning of my passion for the arts and the creative world. So it's cool that you bring that up. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, where I was born and raised. I ended up going to a university there as well. I got my communications degree, but I was on a music scholarship through college. I kind of tapped into acting then because
Hmm.
I didn't know that I loved it that much until I was in college, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool. But I also didn't really pursue it at that point, because after college I moved to Los Angeles, and I was in a music group, and we were pursuing our music career there, touring and recording, and that was the initial thing that brought me to LA was music.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, so I have a vast background in music, jazz, gospel, funk, rock. But we were a pop duo then, and me and my sister were recording then. But the music industry got a bit messy for us with our team, and we decided to put it on pause. And that's when I started modeling, and that became a consistent revenue stream for me. And fast forward a few years, I moved to Nashville and wanted to do a little bit of music and other things. And that's actually when I fell into acting. I was asked to be in a short film. And I was actually scouted through my YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel in there because
Wow.
I like to tell stories. And when I was modeling, I loved modeling, but I wanted to have a voice, so I started a YouTube channel so I could share my story and hopefully encourage others in their life and have a comedic twist to it. So it was through that, which is kind of funny, the twists and turns of life. You never know where things are going to go.
No.
Um, it was through that random YouTube channel that the director and producer found me and asked me to be part of this short film. And I thought it was a scam at first. I was like, what? This is weird. And then I was like, oh, wait, they're actually legit. Okay, this is legit. Okay, let's do this. And I had so much fun. And I remembered that I had a love for acting. And so that was actually in 20, I think 18. So it wasn't, yeah, about 2018. And that's when I actually pursued acting. I got an agent shortly after I was taking class. And a few months after getting an agent, I started booking theatrical roles and films and Lifetime films and all kinds of things pretty quickly in Atlanta. And so that's what ended up bringing me to Atlanta. So,
Nice.
you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of a funny twist and turn life. And I was in New York at some point. I've just kind of been everywhere. But here I am now. And that's kind of the gist.
I love it. I love it. And so we're going to talk about Peacemaker in a second and want to hear about just kind of like how that started and your reaction to all that. But I do know you've also produced some films and you've even funded a project for the Venice Film Festival. We've been attending, Ray and I, film festivals in our area for the last 2 or 3 years, so we love going to them. But what was that experience like, getting your own project funded and then
Yeah.
attending the Venice Film Festival?
Well, actually, okay, so it was actually the Cannes Film Festival, which is Cannes, France.
Even bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Venice, I'm ready
Full
for, I haven't
flex.
been there yet, but yes, exactly. They're neighbors basically.
Right.
Um, so I will say that that was a very unexpected journey and now has become a very crucial part of my career. I was mostly acting, and then a friend of mine got together, and he's been writing and directing, and I had never written or directed or anything, and he brought an idea to me and we just started writing, and this idea just kind of flourished. It was like it came from heaven or something, that it was like this has got to happen. So we started writing, and quickly after that we were like, let's bring this to Cannes Film Festival. I had heard of Cannes. I had never actually been to a film festival, which is wild. That Cannes was the first one. So we brought we brought this script to Cannes Film Festival, and then it was an amazing experience. Learned so much about the business. I just was thrown in. I kind of do better when I'm like thrown in and I just like have to figure it out. So just a few days after we returned from Cannes Film Festival, we ended up getting the full funding to film this film, because it caught a lot of vision. People saw the vision and saw the value of the storyline. And so we filmed it within a year, brought it back to Cannes the following year, which was this recent May. And now we have distribution that we just signed through that. And Buffalo 8 is the distributor, and the film is called The Living Tree, and it's about a influencer honeymoon couple that went on their honeymoon to Costa Rica. They were in a treehouse. Come to find out, the treehouse is AI run, and they got trapped in the treehouse until they completed basically like a lifetime's worth of intense trials,
Wow.
put on by AI, because AI basically wants to be able to feel, because they can't feel what humanity can feel. So it's kind of a very unique story, very emotional and fun.
I dig it. I like the concept, especially AI. There's so many great projects coming out that are taking
Yeah.
advantage of this really, this bump and forward push in technology. So yeah, digging it. Can't wait to see it. The Living Tree. Be on the lookout. Coming soon from Brey Noelle. All right, so let's talk about this. This kind of little role in this small franchise that nobody knows about. DC Universe, led by James Gunn, and you just so happen to pull off the first ever live action White Rabbit. There you are,
There I am.
looking
Yep.
incredible. Tell us about the call. I always love hearing about like how you found out, and especially with like these major movie studios, there's
Mhm.
always like a lot of secrecy. So you
Right.
probably either don't know what's happening, or they like give you like just a crumbs worth of information, and you're supposed to like pull off a role based on that. So like, tell us about the phone call, your reaction, and all that good stuff.
Yes, this is very true, everything you just said. There's a lot of like mystery until you actually are told what you booked. So
Yep.
when I got the call, I'll never forget when I got the call. But I'll say, prior to getting the call, all I knew is I had auditioned for yeah, I didn't know the exact show, and I didn't know any specifics. I knew it was on HBO. It was going to be, it was a significant show. So that's great. When I got the call, I remember being like, wait, White Rabbit. I didn't even really know who White Rabbit was. And I knew the DC comics world, but I wasn't super versed in it. And as most people know, there are characters that aren't really flourished in the comics as much as others. And so they're a little bit more obscure. And so then I got the call from my agent. I was actually just wrapping another film that I was on, and I was having dinner with a good friend of mine that I met filming, and I was in my car on the phone, and he was looking through the side window, and I was like, hold on, it's like cheering, there's some good news. And he was like, what's going on? So anyway, I finally got out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I booked White Rabbit, this show, do you even know what that is? And then we all researched it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," and I was like, okay, this is like, wow, I didn't even know this was the character." And so anyway, it was just a very fun moment, and I then did my research on everything because I love the DC comic land. I've always been kind of a fan of the worlds that like get your creative juices flowing, and I'm always inspired. I've always been inspired and just had a lot of fun whenever those kinds of worlds have like come out on TV shows and whatever. So, or films mostly. So anyway, that was the moment. I remember I didn't even really fully know much about what I had booked, and then I did the research, and then I got even more excited and very grateful, and that's where it began.
Well, David Finch, of course, came up with the character, was the artist for the comic. And you did post a photo where you actually got your hands on a copy of that cover and comic. How how was it getting your hands on it?
It was really, it was so like surreal kind of, because I remember I had some friends being like, you have comics and you have these things that's your character. I was like, I know, okay, like I actually need to like, I should have one, like, right? And here, I'll show you. It was actually when I got it, it was like the final one I could find, and here it is. So it was very fun. And to go along with it, I did, my friend who you saw in the photo there, Moses. He's a dear friend of mine. He got me a little fun character just to
Oh,
like, I can like remember all the things,
there you
keep it
go.
around. You know what I mean? So yes, it's kind of surreal. It's kind of I think what's cool about it is it's so fun. I think that's just what's so cool about everything. It's just so fun, and there's so much bright energy. And anyway, so that's my treasured little piece that I have.
Well, that character is very unique, and she has special abilities. She works Long Bane in the comic. It's a great read. If anybody's not read it, you can go pick it up in a graphic novel and get familiar with this character if you want to know more. But yes, when I saw your portrayal coming in, as soon as I saw you running out of that building, I was that guy that pointing at the TV, and I was like, what? But yeah, I hit Ted up. I'm like, dude, look, yeah,
I love it.
James is always like the consummate professional, and he does things so outworldly and vividly, and he's got a great process and all that. So I imagine you had a great time, and you also shared a photo with yourself and John Cena, Peacemaker himself. Tell us just about that interaction, because I've never met John, but I have seen him at like conventions and San Diego Comic Con. The guy's hilarious. He's so witty. I just love his humor and how quick he is, and how funny he is. So, what was that conversation like? What did you guys talk about?
Well, I'll just say John Cena was such an inspiration to work with, and he's such a gentleman. He's so professional and focused in his work, and it was just so fun to just be there with him. He really, I only have amazing things to say. He is just a genuine, to me, he just seems like a very genuine heart and soul and person, and just to be able to share that interaction with him is just such an honor. So very, very grateful, and only great things to say about him.
And you got an opportunity to be on the set of a James Gunn project, and so without giving anything away, because we know that there's super secrecy things and stuff like that. Just what is it kind of like to see him in his like creative element?
Also, so inspiring. James Gunn is so brilliant to me. And so to be able to interact with him directly, and just kind of see how he moves and flows and leads, and he has a lot of fun. He's very authentic and just brilliant. And so yeah, I am very honored, and I have such high respect for him and everything that he has now in his hands and on his plate. And he's just quite an amazing person.
yeah. James Gunn is his directing, and if people don't know where he started from, I mean, he worked first working with Trauma and doing Toxic Avenger type stuff and doing his own film with, working with the director from that and the creator,
Right.
to go from that and then first go into Marvel and creating Guardians of the Galaxy, doing a great job there. And now when he took over DC, to me, James Gunn has a great imagination. He has a love for what he's doing. The characters that he picks are characters, they're not huge characters, but he makes you care about them
Mhm.
and puts more backstory behind them. And that's why I love when he took over DC. What he did with Superman was great. Peacemaker, the characters that he's introducing. I'm not a big John Cena fan, but I fell in love with them on this TV show.
That's good.
And yeah, so yes.
Love that. That's awesome. Yep. The layers that when someone can pull those depths into you, into a character and make, that's a really special gift, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now that you've entered into the DC universe, we will be excited to see what else happens because you're pretty much on the board of like who they can bring back and choose for any moment in time. And when they do big crossovers later down the road, like White Rabbit is available. It's pretty much like a fantasy football type thing. Like I'm gonna go ahead and draft White Rabbit for this thing later down the road. So me and Ray, we're going to be very hopeful, and I'm sure all the rest of the fans are as well, that we get to see you really dive into this role once more and see where James can take you. I feel like the sky's the limit, and there's nothing that you guys can't pull off together. So as far as White Rabbit goes, we're excited to see you take over and put on the bunny ears once more.
Thank you. I like the bunny ears, so I'm a fan.
Absolutely. And you have a couple of other things that we want to talk about because I did mention earlier you are a singer. I've been listening to some of your pop tunes, extremely catchy. I dig it. You got a tremendous voice and you also have a project on the horizon. So if anybody wants to kind of keep up to date with Brey and her musical journey, you can visit her website for more information, breynoelle.com. She's also going to be posting stuff on social media, so check her out on Instagram. But how excited are you for this upcoming musical album you got coming out?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that shout out with my music. It really is a big part of my heart, and I'm so love that. I am very excited for what I have to come. I'll be honest. I've done so many different kinds of music and projects and loved it. I've worked with different people, and it's been a great journey of finding what's the most authentic to Brey and what I want to create, keep creating, and how and what do I want to say. I think there's something really significant about music. You can have a voice when you can put voice to anything that's in your heart. Music is so powerful, and it really does have the ability to impact. And I think we talked about this once. All music has a frequency. So
Mm,
there's frequencies everywhere, and music has the ability to bring so much life. And so anyway, I get super passionate about all that. And this project I have coming out is very personal to me. I'm recording in the studio right now, and so it will be coming in the near future. I'll be releasing a single and then more songs after that, and hopefully leading into an album. But I would say the story behind this new phase of music I'm releasing is really my journey of growth. I think that sometimes we just see the end results and we don't often, dive into understanding the journey that everyone goes through to get to, where people end up seeing them at. And so
mm.
I've had a lot of different fears and doubts and controversies inside of myself. Like, am I a fraud? Am I just like aiming for the stars and gonna just end in the pit? Like, just all of these fears, and I think that's everyone goes through that, whether you're at
Yep.
the top or just starting or whatever. We all face those kinds of doubts and fears and questions. And really, I think the purpose of it all is to just keep walking through it, because we can only keep going or stop, really. And so this single I'm specifically going to be releasing next, which I'm very excited about, really dives into that wrestle inside of myself, that fears and then the overcoming of them, and really that, we're meant and we're designed to live so beautifully and powerfully and greatly. And so we just got to remember that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I know you mentioned you have a background in like different genres, and it's fascinating and that's awesome, by the way. But this next album, are you like what genres are you kind of dabbing into for this next project?
yes, this next project's definitely more pop soul.
Ooh, okay. I dig it. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's funny because yeah, soul, actually gospel and jazz was like such a big part of my vocal background. I grew up
Wow.
singing in the church, and gospel choirs and groups, and we would do all these different kinds of jazzy things too. So it's so fun to be able to incorporate that into my music more prominently now, because I know I'm this blonde Norwegian. I'm actually Norwegian, but but soul is in my voice. So I love bringing that out in the musical aspect. So
No, 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 no. That's fascinating, and I can't wait to hear it. There's not enough maybe artists tapping into the soul genre right now, so I feel like this is something that is long overdue. So yeah, I appreciate that. Can't wait to hear it.
yeah, well, I'm excited to share.
Well, with the White Rabbit being in the DCU now,
Mhm.
and you have been now bought into a new world, which is the con world,
Mhm.
that now people are going to want to meet you and go to conventions and get their comics possibly signed.
Yes.
I heard that you have an appearance that you're going to be doing at a wrestling event in Orlando.
I do. I am going to be appearing at it's in November. It is in Orlando. And I'm excited because yes, there's just like such an energy at events like that. And so I am showing up. I will be signing, I will be hanging photographs, the whole thing.
Nice. Well, this, of course, if you're not aware, next Saturday is Batman Day. Since you are a character in the Batman universe, have
Mm.
you thought about going to a local comic shop? Because every local comic shop is going to be celebrating Batman Day, giving away comics for kids. Um, have you ever thought about sneaking up and just kind of going in there and if see anybody recognizes you?
You know what? You are giving me ideas. This is good. Now I'm thinking about it, and that's fun. Again, there's so many new elements that I'm like, oh, this is exciting, because I did have someone reach out about going to a comic store, whatever, but I hadn't thought about even what you said until just now. So okay, we'll see what I can do now.
Nice.
I will say I was a little bit overwhelmed at first trying to because the amazing fans and how people get excited is just so it's just so special. Like, it's so fun, it's really amazing. So it I'm learning a lot as I go, and how the worlds work and the fans work and the comic stores and events and everything, the cons. It's all so fun, and it's I'm trying to just dive into it. So
Nice.
Well, welcome to the DC universe, and welcome to the fandom, really, because you're a part of it now, and we can't wait to see more. Like I mentioned, one last question before we wrap up, just for
yeah.
the fans who are meeting you for the first time, what message would you like to share with everyone?
Gosh, the first thing that comes to my mind is keep doing what you love and
Mm.
keep loving people in the process. Because I'm telling you, it's the people we're around, and it's what we choose to do with our life and our gifts that really make the biggest difference in our life. And that's what I found. That's something I'm very passionate about: living inspired and inspiring others to do the same. And I really feel like that has to do with who we have around us, loving one another, and just doing what we love. It's like there's so much that we can pull from. So anyway, that would be like what drives me, and I hope that that can inspire whoever's listening to find that for themselves, because it's gonna make a difference, I think.
Words of wisdom from the White Rabbit. We love it. Brey, I want to thank you again for taking the time to speak with us. You turned a lot of heads on that premiere episode of season 2. You're incredible. We can't wait to see what James might have in store for the White Rabbit later on down the road. And thanks again for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me and sending all the love to the fans and everyone. You guys are literally the best.